and
jacket and
nothing
pause my
but 20
game.
or less beyond that. It's upsetting.
What's up? Oh, yeah. Sigmund's over there and new Pokemon.
Hey, you leave Pokemon out of this.
Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all.
Oh, Jeff Wilson for getting Mostert out. That's my play of the day.
Oh, yeah.
If you're 30 years old and don't have any love for Pokemon, you had a boring childhood.
I'm sorry your parents
Facts.
hated you.
I was gonna say, I'm sorry. Your parents
Yeah,
did
I
not
grew up in a
love you.
loving household, so I know what
Yep.
Pokemon is. Yeah.
I've played every gen.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Every gen.
Except
I-
Mystery Dungeon.
It's like, have you played
I only
Pokemon?
played one of those. I didn't like those.
It's like, have you ever played Pokemon? It's
Or the
like, well, I
rescue
texted
team
my
shit.
mom I love you first thing this morning, so yes. Pokemon is indicative of
But
a
I
strong
didn't.
parental-child relationship.
Yep.
Oh,
For
definitely.
real.
Mine was actually an escape from my parents.
That's
That
also
too.
fair. That's also fair.
I just didn't have any friends, so that was
Oof. Oh,
yeah.
that's too close.
One
to
of those
home.
guys. One of those guys.
So,
You have friends now. It's okay.
yay!
but see, you guys, and this is how I feel like in our generation, an age gap like 2-3 years is truly something special because I don't know if you guys had this, but Pokemon kind of came out when I was in about kindergarten, first grade. So by the time like Gold and Silver came around, it was like second, third grade for me, and it was the dick swinging contest on the playground. Like I remember at one point I ran the playground because I had a level 95 Venusaur, and I backed it up with just a monster team. Like I caught the Mewtwo, and I was just going through on the same save, just hyper training everything on like the first game. And this is like either right when or right before Silver and Gold came out, and you just ran the schoolyard. That was plain and simple.
Blender, when were you born?
94.
Pokemon came out in '96, dude. You were 2 years old.
Dude, Cole, for us, it was.
Maybe
it
I'm
was
confusing the
trading
games.
cards.
I was like, I'm pretty sure I was like.
Well,
in
we're
fourth
also
grade
we're
when
also
Silver
we're
came
also
out.
in, we're also in South Dakota, so like
Cole, for us, it was trading cards.
Yeah,
The
trading
cards hit before the video games, so when you were out there hustling cards left and fucking right.
That's true.
Facts.
Like,
Yeah.
do this, dude.
That's. I like to feel like that's
If I
what
could
got me
find
addicted
my-
to card trading.
If
in
I could
general.
find my
Yeah.
original binder, we wouldn't be in this basement for a studio. We'll just say that.
For real, like I'm just gonna
Oh,
be.
yeah,
Let's
no.
be honest here. The Pokemon Company groomed a bunch of children into gamblers, like from a very early age. They just
I mean, hell,
Yep.
there's casinos in the game.
Dude,
there's casinos in
even
the
if you
game,
can
and
find shitty Gen 1 cards.
Good.
Remember Forrest sold that Venusaur who's fucking water damaged up the ass for $50?
yeah, we went through and
$50 for a water damaged card.
we
Thing
appraised
was
all
like
my
bad
Pokemon
shit.
cards because he has an online card shop, so he has this like tool that only vendors can use to look up prices and stuff like that. And I even with damaged cards, they're worth like $1,100. My little box that I have, it's pretty crazy. But I didn't. If something funny about it, we'll get to sports here in a second. But something hilarious that it didn't occur to me until actually like 4 or 5 years ago. I was thinking about Pokemon games, and I realized that Pokemon was dogfighting.
oh yeah,
And it
100%.
didn't occur to me until I was an adult.
Oh really?
Like you are taking these monsters around and you're fighting. You were forcing them to fight each other, and to the point where one of the trainers, all their Pokemon are unconscious because they just got their ass kicked,
Yeah, and then you
the
take their
loser
money.
has to pay the other one money.
Yep.
like
I mean,
that
some
was
of them are
literally
rodents.
dogfighting.
I love it.
Yeah,
Some of them are rodents.
yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah,
that
you know what I
doesn't
mean. Though.
excuse it.
It's like they took like whoever came up with this game was like probably some deranged Japanese dude in a underground dogfighting
Okay,
pit.
are
that's
you-
like, I'm gonna make a video game off this.
Are you surprised from the people who invented tentacle porn?
True?
Yeah, are you
fair
really? I'm like, that's all I'm gonna say about that.
Fair
I think I
enough.
realized it with Michael Vick, and I'm like, well, he's just kind of doing what's on Pokemon, except it's real.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
what do you mean he's getting 2 years? I just got the praise and accomplishment from all my
I
peers.
just
I
beat
just
the
won the
Elite Four.
championship.
What do you mean? I'm the league champion.
Also, let's shout out to fucking. It took what 30 years for 10-year-old Ash Ketchum to finally become a champion.
I saw that on the news. That was
Oh,
funny.
did he?
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I
finally.
didn't see that
They're
yet.
he's
Fucking-
gonna be the new elite trainer, and they're gonna release a new trainer for the following generations that will learn and look up to Ash.
Huh.
I'm just saying it's
If I-
bullshit that his
Dude.
Pikachu isn't level 200 by this point.
If you would have told 5-year-old Jace you're gonna be 33 before Ash wins the Elite Four, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me?
Next, you're going to tell me their parents are going to get
he's
divorced.
beat many versions of the Elite Four in many different regions.
And real quick, only one of his friends showed up to his final match.
Who's that?
I did see that. Like, only May from Gen 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's the only one that fucking showed up for him to
Really?
support him. Yeah.
Never-
Even Team Rocket was there supporting him, and no one else.
Okay, but Jesse and James
Damn, I'm gonna
low
have
key
to
the
watch this
homies.
episode.
I did see some shade getting.
Did they ever
thrown.
explain how he
Is it
doesn't
a movie
age?
or an episode?
It was an episode.
have to go check that
Well,
out.
you see, what happens is when he stole Misty's bike and he got struck by lightning and he saw Ho-Oh in like the second episode, that was actually him dying. So this is all just
Oh
a
my
fever
God.
dream.
Chill.
You've
Not
never,
going into we don't need a purgatory Pokemon.
Oh,
yeah, you've never heard Purgatory Pokemon theory?
Oh,
no, the
Y-
paradox.
Yeah, it's like Ash was in a coma for years, and this is all just like because he got like electrocuted to the point where he's now in a coma, and that's why he's forever 10 is because well he's comatose. Like he's actually just sitting in a Poke Center somewhere, and the Chansey's just like no, and Nurse Joy's just
Next
like
you're
why
gonna
can't
tell
we
me
fucking fix him?
Next, you're gonna tell me Caillou has cancer.
I hope
And
he does.
deserves it.
Who? I didn't hear who you said.
Caillou.
Oh, God,
he's like-
that little piece of shit.
Shit, fuck Caillou.
Little pretentious little kid.
But real quick though, I'm just pissed off. Ash never put a baby in Misty. All right.
Yeah,
All right,
I was
moving
gonna
on.
say,
I thought
say
that was
we
the
all,
Rocks, though.
yeah, we
No.
all wanted
It's
that.
time to talk
Fuck
sports,
Brock.
boys.
He gets Nurse Joy, all 27 of them.
This is escalating way too quickly. All right, on to football.
I got the lines up over here.
Foosball.
Actually, for the first time, Denver's playing at 11 a.m. this year.
Yeah, I think so.
We got so the first game is Denver with a spread of -1, an over/under of 36. We got Sea and Ghost Sam Darnold at the helm of the QB today. You know what? Let's ride.
Yeah, I don't think Denver's going to win maybe one or two games the rest of the year, but I think this will be one of them. I think it's going to be an incredibly boring game. Sam Darnold, if Denver did not have the elite defense they did, I
Sam
would
and
actually
DJ get
say,
along though.
I would actually say Sam Darnold could probably lead the Panthers to a victory. But when I was diving into this last night, making my picks, last year, the first 3 games he started, Sam Darnold threw for over 300 yards each game. Weeks 4 through 17, he only averaged 161 passing yards a game.
In
So
those
you come
first
into-
4 games, you played the Jets, the Dolphins. They
Yeah.
were like 3 shit teams.
You come into this game against arguably the top 3 defense in the NFL, and Darnold's not going to be able to move the ball. On the flip side, I don't think Denver's
I wouldn't
gonna
even
be
say
able
arguably they are top 3.
to, yeah. I don't even think Denver's going to be able to move the ball very well either. I think what you're going to have is a
Remember when
field
you
goal
said
fest.
that
Remember?
Derrick
Figured
Henry's
I'm
going
gonna
to
hit
run
you if you
all
keep
over you?
interrupting this morning.
Yeah.
That's where you guys proved
Yeah.
that your defense was
no.
better.
That's very true. But I think this is going to be similar to the Colts Broncos game from week 4. I think it's going to be like a 16-13 field goal kickoff. I don't maybe Denver scores overall. I think that cuz the Panthers have a pretty good pass rush, and I think they'll get to Russ, and I don't know. I just see this being a really low scoring game.
You know, I'm gonna bring out the impersonation right now. Let's fucking do. Listen, okay, so this
Way
game,
better game
it's
for the
just
impersonation.
horrible. It's just bad. It's like if I tried to start a meat selling company, or if I tried to run a casino in Atlantic City, or if I tried to buy projects in the middle of New York and then turn them into upscale apartments. It's bad, okay? But going forward, I love Russell Wilson. I'm pretty sure he voted for me. Great guy. Fantastic guy. Russ, is a great quarterback. I think he goes for 250 yards today against a very depleted, a very empty, and a very disheveled Carolina Panthers defense. I got the Broncos by trace. And by trace, I mean it's going to be a 3-0 game. It's World Cup season, bitches. What's up? No, but I mean, yeah, just kind of piggyback. Very much a defensive game. I would love to just kind of see, your opposite days, like where we kind of see what's suspected to be a defensive game, but then all of a sudden both teams shit the bed. The Broncos probably have their best offensive outing of the season. Is what I would like to see, but it's not what happened. So I don't know. 19-16 is probably my final score debate for this one. I would heavy hammer Brandon McManus on a field goal bet today. I saw he was, I think, 1.5.
They're like all 1.5 today, like
absolutely.
almost
I would-
every single kicker today.
I would hammer it at 2.5. Honestly, I think McManus gets 3 field goals.
Absolutely.
today.
I would say
completely
same
agree
with
you.
Sly.
What's
Yeah,
the
we'll
over-under?
jump to those kickers too because I have a couple other kickers I'll bring up later too. But go ahead, Tanner.
What's the over under?
36.5. So that's why I knocked it right.
I'm
below.
actually gonna hit the under on that one.
Yeah, I got to go in right below.
I think Denver's finally gonna pop 20.
Really?
Yep.
All right.
I think Russell
I hope
actually.
you're right.
I think Russell actually cooks today with no J.C. Horn.
That's another big one too. Is right now the Panthers' defense?
They're injured.
It's bare bones.
Yeah, their
dude.
secondary is bad, but like I said, their pass rush has been pretty decent just at the games I've been looking at lately. But Russell Wilson has been sacked 3 or more times in every game this year, but 1.
So another prize
Because he
pick.
keeps trying to scramble out of the pocket, and he runs right into a defender because he's too slow. That's actually why I put him in my price picks. Panthers 2.5 sacks or more is one of my locks because he's just doing it every game.
My prize pick lock of the week for this game is actually Latavius Murray receiving yards at 11.5.
That's a good one.
Also, shout out to Russell Wilson before we move on to the next game for making the rest of us feel normal. That it is okay to physically degress at 30 years old. Yep, it's okay. It's not just the working class folks.
That's
who
not
do
a
it.
degress. That was
He looks
he
slower.
full on had a recession.
Yeah.
He's
the
he's
2000
going through what we're going through right now.
He's the 2006 American economy.
Yeah.
Pretty much. He's
Also, the worst is yet to come.
yeah. I'm going to be very curious when we have a new coach to see what the answer was.
You
or
think
where the problem
Hackett goes
was.
year one?
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. He's done
Hackett's
after this
already
year.
out the door.
New ownership.
They have too much
second
money.
largest
They have
fan
too
base in
much
the
money
NFL.
to
Yeah.
care for having that around for more than the season.
Yep. There's way
Especially
too,
when that owner wasn't the initial one that hired him. Later,
Uh-huh.
no loyalty there.
Does Patton go with him?
No.
Really?
I still
Really?
think Peyton's a good. I think he's a good GM, and I think he's probably just as frustrated as all of us. Because who the hell, like, if you were to ask 1,000 NFL fans before the Russell Wilson trade happened, if Russell Wilson would fall off a cliff like this overnight, like maybe have a handful of non-believers, but most people would not
Your
believe.
sister-in-law said he would fall off a cliff, and I didn't believe her.
That. Yeah. So
I will say this: Alyssa called this. I told her about the Russell Wilson trade, and I was like, "Dude, you should be excited right now." She's like, "I don't believe it." What? She's like, "What's Russ done?" And I'm like, "Well, he's had 4,000-yard passing season." She's like, "What's he done without a defense?" And I'm trying to be supportive. Like, fucking look at the jersey here. If God forbid, Love would make me defend the fucking Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
But no, she was right. She was right to a Broncos fan. She was like, I don't see the specialness, and apparently, you can hit the DMs, George Patton. I'm sure she would love to coach. I will gladly be a trophy husband on the motherfucking sidelines. We'll take half the money Hackett did. So, hit my girl up. What's up? Just had to make that pitch real fast. Sig, what's our we got picks from everybody, right? I think we're all
yep.
riding with
We're all
Broncos
riding.
Nation. There.
I think Sam's gonna be seeing a lot of ghosts out there. First time
Yep.
back on the field in like a year.
Pat Surtain interception, lock
I
it
was
in
going to
today.
say, is Dom Capers out there? Fuck. This ghost always haunts the NFL. As soon as you see bad covered, it's like, oh, God.
I am looking at this slate, and man, do we have a lot of shitty football today.
Yeah.
You say that.
With that being
You say
said,
that now.
we go to Atlanta, Washington, over under of 40.
Yeah, Dom Capers,
Commanders,
senior assistant
minus
defensive assistant with
4.
the Denver Broncos. I was like, I'm pretty sure we have Dom Capers. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Sig. I interrupted you. What's up?
Falcons
good?
Commanders.
Falcons, Commanders, over under 40 and a half.
America's game.
Commanders minus 4 though.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I really
this-
believe in Heineke. Vegas is liking him out there.
The team believes in Heineke. I mean,
Well,
you can.
the
you can
Falcons
just
are
see.
injured as fuck. Like their entire defense is out.
Yeah. You can see how the team's kind of rallied around Heineke compared to Wentz. And Heineke's a smarter quarterback. Who's the best offensive weapon on that team?
Terry McLaurin. Hands
Exactly.
down.
Do you know the target rate in which Carson Wentz was thrown to him?
Like it wasn't like 14 or 13%.
16%. Do you know the target rate in which Tyler Heineke throws to him?
24.
32.
38.
30. Holy shit.
He throws to him over twice as much as Carson Wentz because who would have thought it doesn't take half a brain to know you need to get the ball to your best receiving weapon.
But Jahan Dotson was healthy for those 2 weeks and absolutely exploded with Carson Wentz. Like, he had a few other options there, too.
That's
With
a fair
Jahan
argument.
Dotson
That's a
being
fair
out,
argument.
I'd see Scary Terry taking a lot more of a target share. And then, especially with Curtis Samuels, it's like he plays one game, then he's out a game, then he plays a game, then he's out a game. As someone who has him on a couple fantasy teams, I know.
Yep.
Well, and also, there's just something to be said about a guy who, like, just openly kind of. We're seeing the quarterback swag movement, and I fucking love it this year. With Heineke buying Jordans after every game, he bought his lineman Jordans after they beat the Eagles. You see, Kirk Cousins getting chained up on the flights home, talking about getting a grill after the Thursday night game, the Thanksgiving game. I love teams who rally around their quarterback. I think it's great to see, and I think unfortunately in Denver you kind of see the contrast where you see some people really not believing in the quarterback, but it just truly shows that a good team around even an average or below average quarterback can do something special if they're coached right.
Yep.
And the rest of the team really believes in it. And I think that's, once again, what we said, you're believing in Taylor Heineke here. I think Atlanta's been probably the biggest surprise this year. I think they are counted out almost every week. They're a fun team, but we don't really look at them seriously when in all actuality, like they still very much could win their division, make the playoffs. I don't think they're a team that has success there. I don't believe they're in the top 10, but
Well, now that Kyle Pitts is out there, offense is going to come to a crashing halt. Not that he was a difference maker, but Kyle Pitts was taking a lot of defensive attention away from Drake London.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
And now it's going to be even more difficult for Mariota to get that ball down the field. And, they're really going to be relying heavily on Cordell Patterson moving forward.
the hard part with them, though, is just you kind of fucked yourself out of one of these top quarterbacks, and now you're either looking at a project or, God forbid, when are we going to see Desmond Ridder? Like we talked about, we heard a lot of these reports about how he was the most pro-ready going into camp, and I understand you signed Mariota to the deal, but fuck a duck if I'm not crazy. And I'm like, at this position where you are now out of that
Aren't they still
Bryce
in the
Young,
hunt
CJ
in
Stroud
their
area?
division, though?
What's up?
Aren't they still in the hunt in their division? Because I saw a report that
Yes.
it was until they're out of the hunt. Because once they're out of the hunt in their division, then you will see a lot of Desmond Ridder in like the following 3-4 weeks.
That's what I was going to bring up, too. I think it's just because they're still
Half game right
winning
now.
and
Yeah.
they're
Half
in
game.
the
So I would say if they lose this one
all
and
competing
the
to see who gets
Bucks
knocked
win,
out in the first
if they
round.
lose today and the
Yeah.
Bucks win today, and that pattern continues till next week, I would say then we see Desmond Ridder for the rest
Yeah.
of the season.
That's fair. I just want to see him now already.
I do too. I like him a lot.
That being said, Commanders by a touchdown, which easily covers the 4-point spread. And I'm going to
Honestly,
go over.
I think with Kyle Pitts being out, we're going to see a heavy share to Drake London today. I think this will be like the first time that you actually see him targeted like a true number one target.
So he has to be.
And
Who else are you going to throw to?
the one
Alameda
thing that I will
Zacharias?
say is don't sleep on the Commander secondary.
Correct.
They are a lot of underrated players out there that know how to play.
Camden Curl is one person I want to highlight as someone who's got that dog in him. I love
love
the passion
Cameron
he
Curl.
plays with. You can tell he's slowly becoming a very young heart and soul of that defense. And there's a reason, they seem very set on moving forward with their defense, and they should. Last year they got plagued by the injury bug. So I like this defense in Washington. I really do.
Price pick lock for this game is Youngway Who over 1.5 field goals.
It's Young Ho, okay?
It's Youngway Who.
I
Young
know.
Ho Coon.
Youngway
Ho.
Who.
Yeah, my old ho bitchy, but my young ho cool.
Facts.
Yep.
All
Yeah,
right,
when he told a reporter that's how you pronounce it, I was like, I'm gonna try to remember that, but that's
Oh, I know it's Young Way, but
Oh,
Young Ho's way better.
but the coup being pronounced who was weird. I don't know. K's are pronounced with an H, I guess. I don't know. Kind of strange.
I don't know, Jace. Maybe you should take a vacation to fucking South Korea and learn about it. You're the one here. You're the one here who can afford it.
Maybe I will.
Yeah, we can't go to Seoul because my girlfriend collects them. So you know,
chill.
That
Love
was
it,
good.
But
All right,
chill.
what's next on this?
Go to
Or,
Korea and eat some dog.
Tanner, you have not put in your input on this glorious America's Game of the Week.
you get 5 seconds.
As a Drake London owner, fuck Arthur Smith. for not utilizing him properly, and Kyle Pitts.
You declined so many trade offers for London.
I don't hate that take from you.
Oh,
God, it's like you got 2 number 1 receiving options. Throw the goddamn ball to him.
Yeah,
Fucking piece of shit.
got all these receivers, but no quarterback.
That's another guaranteed coach firing at the end of this year.
Moving on, something a little more swimming.
Commanders.
We got the Dolphins versus Houston.
Yeah, I'm ready for this game.
This is gonna be the Dolphins are probably gonna put up the over by themselves at 47, with the spread of -14.
Ooh.
Jason, I'm actually going to let you, after Siglin's done, kick it first because I know you did a deep dive on Tua this week. So,
Yep.
but after Sig's done here,
I'm just gonna be riding with 2-0 Tua, as I like to call him. If you guys don't know, now you do. And the one thing I will say is I don't like the spread. I think that the Dolphins starters are out midway through the third quarter, and I think the Texans will be able to pick up a few points to break the spread to like 13. Lose by 13, not 14.
I know I said we're going to Jace, but one thing I want to note is in that Key and Peele skit, all right, you talked me into it. I'll come back. You know, like the old disheveled war veteran.
Dude, I've been watching that
Up
shit
in the hills.
religiously recently.
Yeah, that's what Lovey Smith reminds me of.
Yep.
Like someone just came up to a fucking ranch in Montana and they're like, no, we just need a recommendation for you to come back. All right, you son of a bitch, you talked me in. I'll come back and coach the Texans. No, Lovey, you. Maybe there was a good young head coach when you were with the Bears that we could talk about. And I'm quick, I'm spry, I'm smarter than ever. No, once again, maybe just a coach you worked with who wasn't already a head coach that we could hire. All right, I'll coach the Texans. Yeah, right.
Oh,
And clearly the Texans lost that battle. But for more talk on Tua, we're going to get to Jace.
I did a little bit of deep dive, and I was trying to come up with my picks for the weekend. 2 of the ones I smashed over on was 2 over 20 fantasy points and Tyreek Hill over 92 receiving yards. And the reason being is that the Texans right now are 30th in the league, allowing 390 yards a game. They're 27th in completion rate. They're allowing a pass completion 61% of the time. And to top it off, they're 26th in depth of target at 7.2 yards. Now, where do the Dolphins excel at right now? They're Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, depth of target, getting those breakout explosive rates. That's where the Dolphins offense comes alive. Now, if you look at the... Are you mocking me?
No, I'm just. I do.
Oh, I thought you were doing this.
I do random shit to the camera all the time.
No, you're
Don't
good.
mind me.
Just to kind of elaborate on that, the Texans are the second worst team in the league on big plays, allowing 12.3 yards per completion on average, and they have a 29% boom play rate. So 29% of the time there's a play of 20 or more yards against them. So that's the worst in the league. Stingley's not going to be out, which means they're going up against King and Thomas in the secondary, who are respectively allowing 2.7 and 4 yards of separation to the wide receivers they're trying to cover, which is ranks in the 95th percentile among defenders in the league. So, yeah, Dolphins are going to eat that ass today. We're just,
Everybody.
They're going millennial.
yeah,
Everybody's still waking up trying to watch this. Like,
yeah, I went on a little stat bender there.
I wasn't expected to do math this morning.
I
There we
didn't
go.
hate
I'm
it.
done.
No, we have two. Like, just 2 or maybe even more. Fucking like 2 touchdown spread games with this one and the one we'll cover in KC. It's
Yeah,
hard
I
to
don't-
imagine.
That's a weird line, too. I don't like that one.
Yeah, the
Which
15.
one? Oh,
Yeah, 15 and a
15
half. But obviously Dolphins. It's kind of the hard time of the year when you start getting some games that earlier in the season looked like shit, and now they still look like shit. So
yeah.
just is what it is.
Poor Texans. That's all I gotta say. Because I've always really liked them, honestly. But man, the Dolphins are gonna spank that ass.
Yeah.
Someone in
I just don't like the spread line. I'll take the Texans at the spread.
You know, I like your take on that.
Oh, I'm riding Dolphins -14 all day. Someone had an interesting post on Facebook, though, on a sports doc group. He's like, just imagine you're a Houston Oilers fan. You've been cryogenically frozen in 1993. You wake up to find out that your team's been moved to Tennessee and that you lost 1 yard away from a Super Bowl championship. The team that replaced them in Houston LOL.
Yep.
Alrighty.
Well, how are my Houston Oilers doing? They had to have won a title by now. Oh, my sweet summer child.
Is Warren Moon still the quarterback?
Oh shit! You thought Warren fucking play forever?
Yep.
Yeah, CFL Hall of Famer. What up? What's up next, Siggy?
One of the rematch from one of the best games of last year. We have Cincinnati versus Tennessee. Cincinnati minus a half a point.
That was a good transition into the old Houston Oilers.
Over under 42.5.
Cincy.
Yeah, Cincy.
Cincy
They're
hard.
hot.
Smash that over.
Cincy's hot,
Yeah.
and Tennessee is not the same team.
I agree with that.
Yep. Even though Jamar Chase is ruled out this week, I'm still taking the Bengals, hitting the over on that one.
P. Ryan anytime touchdown would be my prop of the day on this one.
We just saw some Titans fans come up on the screen, and I just thought, how
That would
hard
be
do you
tough,
have
Sig.
to hit that?
Titans
math
are
card?
they're the third best defense against running backs.
Joe Mixon are out, and the Bengals have thrown a receiving touchdown to a running
not-
back in
I'm just saying you
9
get-
of the last 11 weeks.
But you got to look in the matchups too. The Titans are a tough defense to do that against. Even Aaron Jones wasn't able to get into the end zone against them. So I'm just saying and he's one of the best pass catching running backs in the league. So I'm just saying we got to just be cautious. Proceed with caution. It's not a terrible take. I'm not saying it's a bad take. I'm just saying it could be a trap too.
When it cashes, you'll see me in the group chat.
All right. I'm not talking shit.
All
I'm
right.
just saying proceed with caution.
How about
Yeah,
Just
how
saying
far are we in?
proceed
9,
with caution.
9 a.m. We're
Um,
already going to need to pull a
But I'm
receipt.
gonna every time we talk about the Bengals, I got to bring this up because it's maybe an unpopular opinion, but their white alternative jerseys are the best alts in the league, and that should be they should just change their name to the Siberians and make that their permanent jersey.
The whites are hard.
My dad joke of the day is a meme I made a year ago, and it's the two hands coming together, and it's Backstreet Boys, math teachers. Tell me why.
Facts.
Love it.
Facts.
Yeah, I think we're all riding Bengals on this one. Here. Pretty easy.
All right,
Yeah.
on to a game that 2 weeks ago I would have been excited to watch. Today, I don't even think it gets a play on the red zone. We got the boring Bears without Fields, no electricity, no spark factory.
That's
Yeah.
official.
Yeah. He's out.
He's out. And we got the Jets bringing back old Mike White. I think
Yep.
Garrett Wilson's going to have a day.
I do too. Garrett Wilson, you know, with Flacco, he had 3 of his best weeks he had all year. He might be
Mike White throws.
the most. Garrett Wilson, from a talent perspective, might be the best wide receiver in this rookie class. And Olave's up there too for me.
I
Obviously, like
still
Drake,
think
you know.
I'll die on my hill after I watched enough tape when I switched to Olave. I still think Olave is the guy.
Yeah.
He's just different.
Olave is a beast. Yeah,
I mean, even when Michael Thomas comes back next year or the year after, I think Olave will steal his shine as the number one.
34 years old, slot god.
they just need to cut Michael Thomas, in my opinion. Dude can't even stay on the field.
I
But
agree.
Anyways, yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of
They're
a
giving the
dry
Jets
game.
-7. I think it's purely on the defense.
Yeah. This is probably going to be similar to the Broncos Panthers game, in which
I'm
it's
gonna
just
ride with the under, and I don't even want to touch the spread, so I'll just take the Jets money line.
yeah. I agree with you.
Jets, Jets.
That's gonna
the
be
Great
a
White
boring
Hope.
fucking game.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
this is like Larry
It's gonna
Bird,
suck.
but in New York. So like 10% less racist fans than Boston. So you know they're still really
I would say,
riding
like,
on that whole
8%.
white thing. All right, so enough being said, I still like the Jets defense. Robert Sala's got them competing. And fortunately, they still have enough talent. But God, talk about a team that could have just made some fucking noise if Breece Hall stayed healthy. I still
Yeah.
think that would have been the crux of everything.
He was the X factor on
He
that
really
offense.
was. And it's going to bode well for the future for him. I think ACLs are easier to come back now than they ever
Did
have
they ever
been,
find out if
obviously.
it was just an ACL or the MCL tour as well?
I think just the ACL.
For
I
who?
think it was a clean.
Brees Hall.
I think it was a clean tear through.
Green AC. I thought, yeah, ACL.
As long as it wasn't both.
No, he didn't tear them both. It was just ACL. He'll be back next season.
Good deal.
And our last week of Jacoby Brissett, guys. We got Tampa
The
Bay
Brissett.
versus Cleveland.
The brisket versus
I
the
can't
pint
wait to
man.
start
And
sharing
then
that Vince
I won't
McMahon.
be rooting for Cleveland
I
anymore.
was gonna say Brady gets to own one of his sons one last time.
Yep.
So with that being said, we're gonna be taking Tampa Bay with the spread -3, and I'm gonna be hitting the over of 42. I think they at least both, or I think Brady has a competent game today.
You do your Bill Clinton for this one.
All right. I've been requested. Now, I'm going to take the upset here with Cleveland. All right. There's just something about a dog and a dog fight. Fuck it. What the fuck does a Buccaneer have against a pit bull? It's a fucking sword, I guess.
Listen, sometimes you just need to go into the opposing stadium and you just need to grab him by the pussy, okay? Like,
Fuck, that's not the only thing I'll grab.
So a couple things about this game. Tom Brady. Hang on just a second. Tom Brady is currently on pace to break the NFL record for pass attempts in a season. He's on pace for 749 pass attempts. Matt Stafford's has the record at 729 right now, I think. And Leonard Fournette is out. Chris Godwin's healthy. Mike Evans is healthy. Teams come alive at the right time in the year, and this is where I'm going to call the Buccaneers are going to start turning it around. I think they're going to have to heavily rely on Brady this week, and after seeing the Browns get torched last week, I just think this is going to be a heavy yardage game from Brady. I am taking the Buccaneers on this one. And what was the spread against Sig?
-3. the Bucks.
-3.
But America is actually picking Cleveland. Fun fact.
Oh.
By like
-3.
%.
Cleveland's a favorite.
No, the Bucks are the favorite
Bucks are favorite at -3. Okay,
in Cleveland.
I'm taking the Bucks over.
Well, here's the deal. I don't think Tom Brady's fucking lost since he got his divorce at the beginning of the month. He's 2-0. Now, those aren't beautiful wins. 16-13 Rams, 21-16 against the Seahawks. But, the hardest part about a divorce is the actual divorce. And bridges have been mended. Tom Brady posted a photo of his son stating my inspiration with the caption on Instagram. And Giselle Bundchen put a heart in the comment section. So things are civil now, guys.
Jesus
we are on the
fucking
co-parenting train. We are on the co-parenting train. You love to fucking see it. But yeah, you know what? Week before, therapist put a dash in the middle there for what I'm really saying.
The rape.
Comes back, the rapist for 400 Trebek. Seriously. What is up with you? And fucking Trebek. I still got the Bucks though. Interesting fact though for Rashad White, a lot of people jumping on that Rashad White bandwagon. Now I get it, he's a rookie, but he actually ranks as far as your deep dive metrics. Estimated yards per carry, running back yards per reception, yards created after the catch, yards created after contact. He is in the bottom 2/3 in every single category. Or in the bottom third in every single category this year among running backs. And that's not rookie running backs. That is just running backs. Young Bucks struggling a little bit. However, it's still the Bucks. And like
got the volume.
Jay said, if they're not running the ball, then I just don't really see where that negative becomes too big of a problem. The Bucks are just going to start clicking at the right time, and I think they're actually going to be a problem in the playoffs. I really do. Don't count Brady out no matter what happens. As long as they get in, they're going to be an issue.
Yep.
So I got the Bucks this week. What you got, Kip?
I told you we were taking Tampa.
No, I meant
right.
like next.
We got another boring one. I think Lamar has a field day.
Yeah.
I think the
better.
spread is hella fucking low. 3.5.
I think they're just going off of how
Injured the Jags are, or the
how
Baltimore is.
lackluster the Ravens these past 3 weeks. I mean, they barely beat Carolina last week.
Can you imagine if they get Jackson Smith though?
Yeah.
That'll be a fun weapon for him to have. I doubt they do it, but
Yeah.
with that being said, under Ravens.
Anybody
no
else
over.
think it's really weird that like the Jaguars are 3-7 yet they have a positive point differential? Like they've scored 21 points a game and they only allow 20 and a half. They have a 1.1 point per game point differential, but yet they're 3-7. Honestly, this might be a shocker here. I don't think the Ravens are playing at all up to their potential. I thought early in the season, hey, maybe it was just a problem winning games late. Honestly, there's no logic to this. I'm strictly pulling this one out of my ass. I like Jacksonville here, actually. I like Jacksonville here.
I was gonna say the same thing. I got this gut upset feeling about this one, that this could be a trap game for Baltimore, and I think if I had to put money on it, I would still bet on Baltimore. Like if you got money on the line, bet on Baltimore. You know, don't purposely put it on the Jags.
But we're shooting from the hip here. So.
Yeah, I think this could be a trap game for Baltimore just because the Jaguars' offense is at least competent enough to put up 14 to 24 points a game, and just watching the Ravens try to even they've been kind of pulling the Denver the past 3 weeks. They've been having a hard time moving down the field. So I don't know. This could be a trap game for the Ravens.
Yeah.
They said
Trap
Lamar's
City,
hip is
bitch.
better.
Oh, that's nothing on
hips don't
Lamar.
lie. Those hips don't lie, and he's gonna do it. Ravens for the win. Caw-caw! Ravens.
Odin's beard.
Great Odin.
Yeah, there's a real big unkindness in picking the Ravens.
So is Kyler back this week
Yes.
officially?
Also,
I'm
our
quite
boy
positive.
Tyler Young checking in,
Good check.
having a bit of a rough morning here. Said really, really excited to see how ETN fares versus Baltimore after investigating nausea in a couple of leagues this past week. Super Bowl matchup versus Baltimore is what he says. So yeah, apparently he's boasting about a big week for ETN against those Ravens. Apparently they are trash against running backs. So
Yes, they are.
Siglin, Kyler does not have an injury designation coming into Sunday's game. He is playing.
Good to know.
yeah, there's no war zone raids.
That
so.
does change this a little bit, especially since he gets D-Hop back. So our next game, we were charging on to the Chargers versus Arizona. Over-under is 48 with a spread of -3 to the Chargers.
Also, another fun fact here: another game where Vegas is favoring the Chargers. Now, this is much more swayed. We have a 35.8%. America thinks the Chargers are going to win to a 63.8% for Arizona, and then 0.4% thinks that there's going to be a tie because less than 1% of the population always votes for a tie. So, but that being said, I like Kyler coming back. I really do. Hopefully it hasn't all been war zone in that concussion time, and he's actually gotten to study a little bit, but
It wasn't a concussion. It was a hamstring.
or hamstring. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking of Stafford. My bad. Flip flop him, but I don't know. I like them coming back here, especially. I mean, Hollywood Brown's back. You still got Rondell Moore. You got DeAndre Hopkins. Like, there's just a lot of weapons. The Cardinals should be able to actually utilize that offense properly this week for the first time, honestly, all season.
Yeah, here's where I stand. If it was in LA, I would be taking the Cardinals. But it is in Arizona. And for some reason, the Cardinals have a historically bad home record. I cannot remember the numbers off the top of my head, but over the last couple of years, they've got like a less than 30% win rate at home, but on the road, they have over a 70% win rate. It's like for some reason, they just cannot perform and win at home. And I'm just going to follow the trend of what's been happening for 2 years now. I think LA having Keenan Allen back is huge. Josh Palmer's been balling out. I mean, he could, if Mike Williams doesn't stay healthy, Palmer could easily take his job. Gerald Everett's back. Arizona's been bleeding to the tight end. They cannot stop tight end wheel routes to save their life. I'm going to take the Chargers on this one just because of Herbert having most of his weapons available and the Cardinals not performing at home at all.
All right, Tanner.
Arizona. Got to pick my number 2.
Yeah.
Right?
I think
Also-
this is a must-win for the Chargers.
It
Also,
is.
shout out, Tyler said Palmer is $6,500 on FanDuel. So after his blow-up game last week, Mike Williams kind of re-aggravating that ankle injury. And honestly, someone who's
Yep.
finally starting to blow up kind of like we kind of believed in. You know,
yep.
like there was the talent
He's getting
there
his
for
hands
Palmer.
under him.
Exactly.
I do have Palmer in
Because
my
that was
FanDuel
his
lineup,
biggest
too.
issue. He'd get open. He just didn't have the hands to hold the ball.
Exactly. No, I like Palmer as probably like a sleeper start this week. If you got Josh Palmer, he's available in your fantasy leagues. You know, you got that work league that's starting to get down to the nitty gritty. You're in the playoff hunt, but you know, you got some players. You know, maybe on some injuries. We don't have buys this week, thank God. But yeah, I'd say Palmer's a solid pickup if he's not already rostered. But I think at this point, the run he's had, we're not exactly picking a sleeper here. You know what I mean? It's just FanDuel hasn't really caught up yet.
Yeah, for sure.
What you got next, Giggy?
We have your game, 47.5, spread of -4 to Seattle.
Biggest spread they've given Seattle all year
Leonard,
from
kick
Vegas.
it off.
Um, I mean, we all know who I'm picking. Logic behind it, though. Last week was something special. Not just to beat the Broncos. I don't think we expected to give up a lot on defense. You know, that was not a win for our defense. But for Derek Carr to go out and honestly pass for 300 yards against the top defense in the NFL, a defense that features Justin Simmons and Patrick Surtain, Devontae Adams, shout out for him getting fined twice the amount of money that Justin Simmons did on an illegal hit that did not get called. But hey, whatever, we're the Raiders. I like to believe in the emotion. It's not so much, Siglin brought this up when we were talking, I think the better coaching is definitely on the side of Seattle. Talent-wise, though, I still think we're the better team. Seattle's kind of rallied. They've gotten gritty this year. They've kind of been counted out, but you're starting to see that pendulum shift. Everybody's counted the Raiders out. We're done, according to everybody. Mathematically, we still have a chance to make the fucking playoffs, so until that hill dies, I'm screaming Raider Nation, baby. But definitely because even outside of being a Raiders fan, this kind of feels like that pendulum shift. Like the Raiders are being counted out. Seattle's got their biggest spread of the season. Now, they're a great game. Tariq Woolen versus Devontae Adams is by far my player-on-player matchup of the week. I cannot wait to see what that is because Woolen's bigger than Adams. 6'4", 215. He's actually a bigger player than Devontae Adams. So where we kind of line Adams up and how we get him open will be interesting. But still, this is going to be a close game. I got the Raiders probably going 28-24. Last second touchdown by Derek Carr. Seattle leads the whole game, and then bam, pull another one out of our ass. Raider Nation, let's ride.
I think this is going to be Tariq Woolen's biggest competition. We saw what he was able to do to DeAndre Hopkins. He held him down when he was guarding him to 4 yards. So, but we also just saw what Devontae Adams did to Pat Surtain, who was arguably the number one cornerback going into last week. So,
Devontae Adams is he's cut from a different cloth.
Built different.
Yep.
he's from a total different fucking planet.
Listen here, brother.
What is up, Cody Benny? Welcome up in the chat too. So shout out Cody. I don't know
What
if
up,
anybody
Cody?
else here knows him, but
Cody!
fucking,
Cody!
I
don't
yeah,
know who you
I
are,
just
but
found
hell
out.
yeah.
God, what is he? He's one of my brother's PE teachers. I can't remember who brought him up, but yeah, he's a PE teacher for one of my family members too. So I was like, yo, shout out. Like I went to middle school and like church group with him and stuff. No, Cody's a solid dude. Family also owns B-Dubs where Alyssa works, so you know, small town, how everything kind of comes together. But I don't know. Seattle, though, I would say I want to see make the playoffs.
What it
After all
comes
this.
down to for me, and like Cole and I were talking about when we first came in the studio, coaching. Pete Carroll runs circles around Josh McDaniels as far as coaching goes. So with that being said, I'm taking the more experienced, the better coach. I'm taking Pete Carroll any day of the week.
I'm riding with you too, Seglin. I got Seattle winning this one, and it comes down to defense for me. You look at the Raiders and
agree there.
who is 31st in the league in yards allowed. It's the Raiders. Over, I think, almost 418 yards a game they're allowing in total offense to the opposing teams. And who has the second worst rushing defense in the league, allowing 124 rushing yards a game? The Raiders. Who has the worst red zone scoring allowed to opponents in the league?
The Raiders.
71%.
You're gonna say the Raiders? Put some ump on it, damn it.
The Raiders!
71% of teams score in the red zone when they're playing the Raiders. And when you have Geno Smith, who's been averaging almost, I think, about 270 a game through the air, and you have Ken Walker, an absolute specimen of a fucking running back. This dude is a beast going up against the second worst rush defense in the league. It's going to be a tough day for the Raiders, and I if I had to put money on it, I am putting it on the Seahawks to win this one.
Oh yeah, if I had money on it, I'd probably bet against the Raiders. But being a Raiders fan who can freely voice my opinion without
Yes.
having to put money on the line. Yes,
That way-
Bryce.
that
Thank
way
you.
If it's an upset, you feel good about it.
Shout out to Bryce Young for noticing our brand new office location.
Bryce
Do-do-do. Yeah, Bryce. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, no shit, right?
shit?
Yeah.
Another one.
Bryce Young.
Yeah, Bryce Johnson. Buy Rays
Shout out
from
to all
your-
of our Alabama viewers. Yep.
Also, buy Rays. Bryce Young, fan of the show, friend of the podcast as well. Shout out Rays Energy Drinks. Hit up your local independent energy drink distributors. It's a love
Yeah.
plug for you.
I enema that shit.
Oh my God!
Jesus. Not what
Right
we
up
needed.
the butt.
Not what we needed in the morning.
All right, what do we got next on the slate, Sig? Unless Tanner has any input on Seattle and Raiders.
No, you guys summed it up.
Moving on, we have, I just really want to see Jameis.
Nah.
But we got the 49ers versus the Saints.
I think 'cause
think
he's on
the
my fantasy.
49ers are going to dog walk them.
Yeah, they're coming.
Saints suck.
They've just came alive since the McCaffrey trade. I mean, he is a difference maker. He is. It's hard to argue he's not the best overall running back in the NFL. And when you have somebody of that caliber taking the heat off of Debo and taking, off Kittle, there's just so many weapons. And Shanahan, maybe a little unpopular opinion. I think he's a good coach. I think he's overrated. Like, he just now broke 500 in coaching record for his career. I don't think he's the absolute mastermind everybody makes him out to be, but he is a good coach.
Tyler
he
going
was
to be jumping in the chat.
Kind of on shitty teams for the first run of his stretch.
On shitty teams, he's only coached one team.
That
I'm
doesn't
talking
count
about head-
offensive coordinator.
I'm
Okay.
talking,
Just counts as head
I'm
coach.
just talking his head.
So
head-
only as the
since
49ers?
He's been the head coach of the 49ers for what, 5 years now?
Think so?
Does that sound right? And the last week's win just brought him over 500. Like, most coaches, if you were under 500 for 5 years, you're not going to still have a job.
I mean, he also inherited a team that was coming off of a Super Bowl hangover. And they were in the process of a full switch and rebuild at that time. After losing
fair.
Kaepernick and Frank Gore finally left, you lost Vernon Davis, Michael Crabtree. Like, your whole organization flipped. And then it was, as you started to get good, they started to keep almost doing what the opposite of what the Rams were doing was they were trading their vets to get more young players.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, shoot, I think they miss DeForest Buckner every day.
No, I agree.
But, yeah, I think
I'm
it
not-
goes.
like I
so
said,
where
I'm
would
not
it
saying
be,
he's a
where would
bad
it be
coach.
if you would take it over the last 3 seasons, though? Like, from where he's got his, I would say that would be, like, where his organizational turnover would have occurred. So I'd say, like, the first 2 years is kind of tough, like growing pains.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
he wants to fucking fire Josh McDaniels 11 games in.
Josh McDaniels is a fucking fraud.
He is. He was sent by Bill Belichick to
Fuck
expose
your
the
team up.
AFC. Yep.
He's probably going to trade Devontae Adams to the Patriots before
He's
he
already got
leaves.
his job back in New England next
He's
year.
probably
after
already got the
Raiders fire him.
contract already
Or
drawn
2 years
up.
from now.
Not saying I believe in him.
Devontae, we're gonna ship
season to suck.
Devontae, we're gonna ship you to the Patriots. They're gonna continue to pay you this much. We've never paid a player this much in our entire franchise history. But you're what's gonna help us save Mac Jones' career.
He'd retire and then come back next season.
Like
He'd have
Gronk.
to retire for like 3 seasons. Deal is 4 years.
Some people are just better coordinators than they are head coaches. Wade Phillips is a good example of that. Phenomenal defensive coordinator. He just was not a good head coach. I mean, some
Some-
people are just not meant to be head coaches.
Some people are,
McDaniels is one of those.
or when you got your hand in Bill Belichick's pocket while you're following him around everywhere he goes, probably helps you too.
Yeah.
He's just still salty that Josh McDaniels turned down the Colts.
Fuck no, I'm grateful, but we ended up with Frank Reich. I'm salty that we never hired Nick Sirianni. That is what I am salty.
That's fair. Going back to the Niners game, though, I think this is a big spread, but also, like we've kind of talked about, the Niners are on fire, and it's really hard to stop any quarterback, let alone Jimmy Garoppolo, who's competitively average, is the phrasing I'll use, competitively average.
Yep.
Dude, these guys are all pros.
Did you guys see what happened to him on Monday at the Warriors game?
No.
What, he whip it out?
Literally every freaking Warriors cheerleader came up and said hi to him while he was sitting courtside.
Why wouldn't you?
And
Listen, he's a
Kittle's-
5.5 as a quarterback, but
Kittle's
the man
just-
swings dick. All right, we all know that.
Kittle's just sitting there, just egging it on. He just keeps pointing it. But literally every cheerleader, just one by one, came and said hi to Jimmy. And he's got Debo and Greg Kittle sitting on each side of him, and they didn't
George
even,
Kittle?
didn't acknowledge either of them.
Yeah.
Unpopular opinion here: if they get to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, now this is hard with the trade that you made for Lance, and no GM ever admits their mistakes, so I don't think this actually happens. But I'd ride with Jimmy. I would ride with the mid quarterback
Again,
on a better salary.
I think we also have on air that really wasn't John Lynch's doing, more or less Kyle Shanahan
Shanahan's doing.
straight pressured. I need this guy.
Yeah, when I think the team just believes in Jimmy more. Honestly, plain and simple.
The team believes in him, but don't count Lance out. You know, you don't give up 3 first-round picks if you don't know what you're doing. And Shanahan clearly has a vision. He is such a run and RPO focused offensive mind, and I think he wants a absolute dual threat quarterback to really take his offensive game. He wants to be an offense that just dominates people by 20 points every game, and I
Full
think
force.
I think he wants that Lamar Jackson caliber dual threat quarterback to be able to do that, and they're not going
You
to
should have drafted Justin Fields.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
You got the Niners with the spread, though. Do you like them by 9?
Yeah.
I do.
Saints are kind of
Oh, you
shit.
betcha.
The Saints are shit.
The
Let's
Saints
just be
defense
honest.
is good though, man. They are good.
I hope
They're
Dalton
not.
balls out,
They're not good
so
enough
Jameis
for the
Winston doesn't
49ers.
start.
They've been playing
to play, I
shit
mean.
teams all season. This will probably be one of the best teams the Saints
Yeah.
have played all year.
What's the spread? 7?
9.
9?
I will state before we leave, we got our Niners fan in the comments section here. Tyler got Jimmy for a year, then lost him for the entire next year. First couple seasons for Shanahan were rough. It looks like it's time for Lynch and Kyle to work it out and get this team where it is now. Most star-studded offense in the league and a defense that's currently on a 3-game streak of allowing 0 second-half points.
Yeah.
You never
I'll
want to
take
point
the
that one
Niners.
out.
Yeah. I don't think count like the Saints are interesting, but also at the same time, like their offense
Makes Olave a scary start this week, that's for sure.
for sure.
Yep.
Especially with all the passing in the second half. What are we moving on to, though, Skiggy?
The biggest line of the week.
No shit, this is a fucking Tony Montana line.
Over under of 52 with a line of 15.5 going to the Chiefs.
God, did the Chiefs cover
Chiefs
it
Rams,
themselves?
right?
Chiefs Rams.
Yep.
I would say normally, but this year Andy Reid has been playing conservative towards the ends. Like they're up 14, they're not hammering it down like they normally would. They're not really pulling players, but they're playing slower. They're clock managing.
Yeah, this is kind of another gut feeling. The Chiefs are absolutely going to win this game, but I
think the under hits.
Rams
The score is too
yeah,
high.
I got the under as well, just because I think the Rams' defense is good enough to at least
Stop him
temper
twice.
the Chiefs a few times. Yeah, I don't think that the Chiefs are just going to go down and score
Stop
every
them
drive.
twice.
I think
Yeah.
2 stops. I think the Rams' defense has just been constantly getting shittier and shittier every week. We saw
Yeah.
Olave absolutely blow the fucking top off
That's true.
of Jalen Ramsey. So, what do you think? Is Kadarius Toney even healthy?
No,
Or
he's out this game.
still Juju Smith-Schuster,
Kelsey's gonna have another 100-point
MVS.
game.
All of those guys are fast. It seems like the speed receivers are what's fucking Jalen up this year.
I don't know if your phone's off, but I got 42 as the over-under on my end here, which would be much more realistic.
Yeah.
I would still probably hammer the under in that situation, just because I feel like the underwhelmingness of this game.
42. Well, yeah, because the Rams probably aren't going to score but a few field goals. You know.
Sorry,
got
update.
a
I
back-
had like there's an original line from Monday when they didn't have Bryce Perkins announced yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
that's
got their
Stafford.
third string quarterback starting for the Rams.
Who actually kind of slang the rock
Yeah.
in that fourth quarter that he had.
Yeah.
Sean McVay was like, "Fuck it, ball out, kid,"
Yeah.
because I thought it was just gonna be a lot of handoffs.
Yeah, I think the Rams have pretty much already counted this season out, but yeah, I'm gonna. You
But
know
they
what?
were
I'm gonna take the over. I don't think it's gonna be by much. If it's the line's 42, you said. I'll take the over by 3. I think that the Chiefs will put enough points on the board.
I
to-
think the Rams at least score a touchdown.
yeah. The Chiefs will score over 30 points alone this game. You know that's going to happen. So, yeah, I'll take the over.
With the over at 42, yeah, I'll take the over.
yeah.
But the original line at 52,
Yeah,
there
that was
no way in hell.
definitely an under. Yep. Hi, Tanner.
Hi.
Haven't heard from you in a while. How you doing over there?
I was in La La Land.
Yeah.
Just an
Voodoo Dolls were
impersonation.
playing.
Yeah. What do you think of this just thrilling game between the Chiefs and the defending Super Bowl champions?
Defending is a very strong word.
That it is. Loose term there.
Very loose. Because, like an arrow, the Chiefs at Arrowhead Stadium are going to pierce the Rams. They're going to slay this beast.
I don't
Yeah.
even think it's a beast anymore. It's just kind of there.
Biggest Super
Well, beast
Bowl,
doesn't imply like,
biggest
big
Super
and
Bowl
strong.
flop ever.
Ever.
Ever. Worst start for a team through 10 games. On track to be the worst Super Bowl hangover ever.
Ever.
All time.
What's our next
Ever.
line there, Sig?
Final game of today will be Green Bay, Philadelphia, over under of 46.5 with a spread of 6.5 to the Eagles.
I'll kick this one off if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I'm going to take the over on this one. I did when I was making my picks for tonight, I was really looking at both the defenses, and I was looking at what are the trends that both defenses are doing, and it's kind of interesting actually because Green Bay's and Philadelphia's defense almost completely mirror each other. So, and I'm trying to remember the numbers completely off the top of my head right now, but I believe Green Bay's allowing 122 yards per game on the ground. That's okay. 122 yards a game on the ground, and Philadelphia is like 123. So they're almost allowing the exact same rushing yards per game, and they're both keeping opponents to under 200 yards passing a game as well. However, opponents that are playing Green Bay are rushing the ball at the 3rd highest rate in the NFL and passing the ball at the 7th lowest rate. So opponents are almost always rushing on Green Bay. But even though their defense is almost exactly the same, Philadelphia's is flip-flopped. Opponents are have the 5th lowest rushing attempts per game against them, but the 6th most passing 9th most passing attempts. So mere defenses, but opponents are playing them opposite when it comes to game script. So it's kind of an odd. It was an odd trend I noticed, but I think this is a game that you're going to see Miles Sanders bounce back in. I do got Philadelphia winning this one. One of my overs that I'm smashing this week is Mason Crosby over a field goal and a half. On the season, Philadelphia has only averaged 1.5 field goal attempts per game allowed to opponents, but in the last 3 games, opponents have been kicking an average of 3 field goals a game against them. So if you got a line you want to smash in this game, Mason Crosby over 1.5 field goals.
I know Tanner and I were looking it up too. Surprisingly, for the Packers having such a quote unquote like bad run defense, they actually, even though they featured playing against Josh Allen and they have played against Justin Fields now, I believe twice, or at least once.
It was once.
Yeah, just once. Even with playing a handful of running quarterbacks, so it's not like they're playing stagnant quarterbacks. They actually have the 12th best rush defense against quarterbacks, both in attempts, and actually the 7th best in yards allowed to rushing quarterbacks. So one surprising one that we were kind of looking into that Tanner hammered, I'd say for a risky bet, is actually taking Jalen Hurts under 11 rushing attempts, just because. Or 10, yeah, just under 10 rushing attempts, because he usually averages about 10.5 a game. And like I said, the Packers, just surprisingly, even with rushing quarterbacks, they seem to really keep him in the pocket a lot more.
And I do like that, and I think the reason for that is, one, Matt LaFleur, he's not a bad coach. He's a smart guy. And you've got a secondary that is top 5 in the league against the Pat. They're a really good passing defense. Top 10, sorry, top 10.
I got a bathroom.
They got a very good passing defense, which allows them to keep eyes on the quarterback, allows them to spy easier because they can rely on their corners and their safeties to take care of the receivers. So, yeah, I can definitely ride with that under on Jalen Hurts as well. Sig, what you got for this game?
I will be taking Philadelphia. I think this is their get-right game.
Yeah.
They have to bounce back, especially after only winning by a point against Indianapolis, when I thought we were just going to get absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
But also, I just think that Aaron just hasn't looked the same.
Yeah.
And Philadelphia has a great secondary. I think Christian Watson is going to face his toughest challenge he's faced since he started to pop off in Slay or even Bradbury.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I just like the Eagles.
I do too.
Plus, I also like how the Eagles added Linval Joseph and
Yeah.
Ndamukong Suh to keep that front four just constantly fresh. That's a big thing.
Pressuring opponents, yeah. Christian Watson's line's only 42 receiving yards this game. How do you feel about that?
I like it. I don't hate it,
Yeah.
but also it feels like a rat line because he's playing a phenomenal secondary.
Yeah.
I almost feel like even if like he kind of trusts him, it'll be like that same game. Like if he drops a ball, Rodgers will be like, "Fuck you today."
Yeah. I don't know. I think he's built enough trust. He went from averaging 2 targets a game to 8.5 targets a game in the last 2 weeks because Rodgers trusts him. And what I've noticed about Christian Watson is he has incredible.
I've said it since day one. The biggest thing they did was the stupidest thing they did was fuck up after quit targeting him when he dropped that 74-yarder on the opening play against the Vikings. They
Yep.
needed to keep feeding him, get the confidence under him, let him catch a ball. I
His
don't care if he
contested
drops
catch
3. I
ability
don't
is
care if he
amazing.
drops 3 of them in a row. He needs the confidence to hold one.
Yep. Because even if he's double covered, he has the ability to jump up and take that contested catch down, and that's
But-
Watson's he's an animal.
I like him a lot.
Yep. Tanner, your game. What do you got?
He doesn't even want to talk about it.
I'm gonna take Green Bay. I think Philly's secondary
They've been exposed the
is
last 3
worse
weeks.
than people think. It's just they're really good at playing the teams they're playing. And so Rodgers, I mean, minus those 3 interceptions the other day, he doesn't really make those mistakes. And that's kind of what Philly preys upon. They prey upon quarterbacks making those mistakes.
To back your point up, Tanner, when I was researching yesterday, Green Bay has the second lowest interception rate in the league at only 1.82% per attempt. So, to credit your Rodgers. point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's always been one of his calling cards.
Yep.
No picks.
Yep.
Low picks.
Let's just say low.
And and Green Bay's going to run the ball. Like that's just they got to run the ball, but they have to throw it at the right times. Rodgers knows what to do.
Yep.
He's just looking like ass when he's doing it.
Yep.
I'm going to take my Packers, but I think it's Philly's game to lose. If they fuck up, if they fuck up, like they're going to lose. Because Green Bay's been playing the same. Honestly, from week to week.
You
Minus
can't
like
tell
some
us the
stuff here and there.
differences.
They've been playing,
The same.
yeah.
Same football.
So I think they're going to put up 20, 26 points, and it's Philly's game to lose.
It's kind of a fun fact. Darius Slay did mention in an interview this week that Aaron Rodgers is the one. Darius Slay has a lot of interceptions in his career, but he said all he wants is to intercept Rodgers because he is the most difficult quarterback he's ever faced to try to intercept the ball against. He said he's just it's incredibly hard to get a pick against Rodgers. So that'll
Damn,
be
he doesn't
interesting to
have
say.
one even with his 6 years with the Lions?
Nope.
I was
That's
gonna
kinda crazy.
12 games, he never got
Yep.
one off Rodgers.
He's like, I've been trying to pick off Rodgers my whole career, and he's the hardest quarterback to get an interception against because he's smart. He, like Tanner said. So
He doesn't throw it
Yep. All right, Monday night's game is going to be boring as fuck.
there. I don't disagree with you, but it's my team, so fuck ya. We're going with the Colts. Over under is 39.5 with a spread of 2.5
Oh,
going to the
God.
Colts.
Under.
I hate to say this. I think it's going to be an over game. I think both teams score in the 20s just because our defense can't stop a cold right now. So with that being said, I'm still going to just ride with my Colts because I've shaded them last
You want to
3
tell our
weeks.
viewers what the game is, though? You just said Colts.
Colts Steelers.
Okay. Yep.
No one gives a fuck about the other team.
I'm on the Jeff Saturday train.
I love Jeff Saturday.
He
dude.
played on the
Fuck
Packers. Yeah.
Saturday on Sundays.
Saturday.
Saturday on Monday. It's my
Yep.
favorite.
So, yeah, this one was this was not necessarily easy to pick, but I'm just going off who has. Okay, better coaching goes to the Steelers, but overall talent on the team, Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Kenny Pickett is now. George Pickens is still a rookie. I'm just going with Matt Ryan, Jonathan Taylor, Alec Pierce, and Michael Pittman.
Is a better core than what they have.
Exactly. It's a better core than what the Steelers have, and the Steelers' defense has been really bad too.
They're
so
injured too. Their
I'm
entire
just-
secondary's out.
I'm with you. I'm going to take the Colts on this one. And they're playing at home too. They've
Yeah.
got the home field advantage.
Roof is closed.
The best 4-6-1 team out there.
Not wrong. The only one.
They're the
but-
only one.
But I'm not the only one.
I don't know. Coming off of a really,
Da-na-na.
really close game that you guys
A sad fuck.
should have won.
He walked in the end zone, dude.
He did.
Walked.
If you guys win most of your games going forward, though, that's going to flip the league upside down when it comes to coaching. Like,
Oh,
holy shit! How do you take somebody that was a high school coach, plug him into the NFL, and he's if he finishes
starts-
with a positive
yeah.
win record, yeah.
well,
starts
and then
pissing on the
supposedly it
radio
wasn't
too.
even.
Captain. All right.
I've done some research, and supposedly the high school team that he was coaching was like really terrible. They were surprised that they got like the 4 wins that he got with them.
Mm-hmm.
So like that tells you something. Like I guess he was only coaching this team as like a favor to his neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Was like what the deal was.
Gotcha.
But Jace, you haven't been here in a little bit. Something we started doing about 2 weeks ago is we now cover the Thursday game.
All right.
So we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Patriots,
Yep.
December 1st. Over under of 44.5 with a spread of 5.5.
God, do I already smell Mariah Carey defrosted all the way?
Oh, that was already playing yesterday at the mall.
Oh, yeah. I
Who's
bet.
home?
Patriots.
Patriots.
I like the Pats.
So you know the quarterback spy is going to be in full effect.
Until the
This
Bills
is-
can prove they don't suck.
The
Taking
Bills
Pats.
don't suck. They're 8-2, aren't they?
8-3.
8-3.
Dude,
yeah.
these
they-
last 2 weeks they've looked like dog shit.
well, the
Because Josh
Lions
Allen's
are
been
a
Josh
good
Allen
fucking
is
team,
hurt.
and
The
Josh
UCL
Allen is
injury
hurt.
is a lot more serious than anyone likes to let on.
Yeah. I think
And
that
that's just because players want to play.
I'm not going to be cute with this, and I'm not picking the Pats because the Bills are going to win this game. But I don't think the Bills are going to put up the house against the Patriots. Bill Belichick is a very smart coach. He knows how to game plan against key players, and I think that if we know Josh Allen's injury is more significant, he knows that too. I think he's going to put a lot of pressure on Allen. The Patriots' defense is very good, and I think that
How the fuck did Mac Jones go for 382 on Thanksgiving? I just want to know that.
I don't know,
Magic.
but
Because
Apparently Thursday Night Mac is
I think
it's a
that
different beast.
I think you fire up your Patriots receivers because the Bills have been exposed through the air lately. But be careful with Ramondre. The Bills have still been shutting down the run. But regardless, Bills are going to win, but I think it's going to be a very low affair. Even if it was a 45 over under. What's the over under on that one?
44.5.
Yeah, 44. I'm actually going to take the under on that. I don't think that there's going to be a whole lot of scoring. I think you could see this being like a 17-10 game, like a very low scoring game.
I was thinking more like a 24-17 or like a 31-10. So either
Yeah.
way, I was going with the under as well.
Yeah.
I just think that, and also the Bills get most of their secondary back next week.
I'm going with the Bills.
The Bills.
The Bills. You know, with the Illinois, slightly Michigan or maybe Wisconsin accent here, you know, the Bills, they've been living in Detroit, which really hardened them because gunshots outside your motel will do that. You can just ask. We took a trip up, and I booked the wrong Super 8 in Milwaukee back in '94. We saw this weird guy with glasses. He was just carrying this dude home. He's really weird. Never saw the other guy again. Yep, that is a Jeffrey Dahmer joke. I'm glad you got that. But, you know, I think the Bills, they're just going to nom all over the Patriots.
Dude, that was great. I love that, Cole. Thank you for that.
Oh my god! I finally realized who that was. It's Rex Ryan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Sexy Rexy.
Rex.
Ugh. Well, yeah. I was
Sorry,
like,
we're
man,
watching
I've seen
NFL
this-
Sunday Countdown
I've
in
seen
the
this
background
douchey
here.
face before. I think he was a coach during the butt fumble or something.
Well, with that
My
being
favorite
said,
player
guys,
ever. The butt fumble.
No, I don't know. Are we rolling more live or everybody leaving?
we can chat off camera.
Yeah, we can. Fuck you guys. To you.
To you.
To you.
Whoa! Hip thrust.
Yep.